Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, family and friends. Hope you had a good holiday weekend. Took an extra day off. Today is going to be just a little bit different. You know, I like to make a note in my mind, but I'm going to share it. You know, I do these videos not because I'm trying to be some sort of YouTube star or famous or anything like that. To be honest with you, it's really more of two things. One, it's more of a journal, so that when history serves, it'll show where I was. I'm not hiding from the things I say. And two, you know, a lot of my family members don't necessarily go to news channels or read the news, so this is a way to keep everybody up on current events. Now, obviously some of it is from my perspective, but I give the facts and then I talk about why the facts are important to me. Okay? So, over the weekend I was at family members for barbecues and things like that, and it was like, I got a lot of positive reception. I'm doing a good job, all that kind of thing. But one thing that came up, and it stuck with me because I thought about it, was I was asked, doesn't it get exhausting talking about MAGA? Doesn't it get exhausting talking about Trump? And I thought about that for a minute before I responded, and I said, it does not. And I said, because when people say that, like you've seen the videos, the memes where people are talking about, black fatigue, I'm tired of hearing black people complain, or white fatigue, whatever the case may be. They're not addressing the problem. The complaining or being upset is a symptom of the problem. The problem itself isn't being addressed, isn't being fixed. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. For those of you that have kids, even if you don't have kids, you're going to understand this. If you have a child and their room is messy, and you tell them, hey, go clean up your room. Now, one of two things are going to happen. Either they're going to clean up the room and fix the problem, or you're going to have to tell them again. So now, depending on the type of parent you are, you will either find some form of punishment to make them comply, or you're just going to keep repeating it over and over again. Clean up your room, clean up your room, clean up your room. The room still has to be clean. So when people talk about fatigue, that's the example I want you to think of. Would you just let your child have a messy room no matter how many times you told them and just ignore you and not fix the problem? That's why I do what I do, because as far as Trump and MAGA, they're not fixing the problem. They are the problem. And I am not going to get tired. They are not going to wear me out. They are not going to defeat me. I'm going to keep talking about it. And maybe nothing will ever change. But when history tells this tale, it's going to show that I stood 10 toes down and I never gave up. I never stopped fighting the garbage that's going on. Keep that, and think about that throughout the day. And if you're upset and outraged by the things that are going on, don't let fatigue beat you down. Don't let the amount of ridiculousness that they do push you until you say, I quit. I give up. Never quit. Never give up. Thank you, and you guys have a good afternoon.